Russia and China have vetoed a UN Security Council resolution drafted by Western countries, aiming at imposing new sanctions on Syria over the alleged use of chemical weapons.
Will those in favor of the draft resolution please raise their hand? The draft resolution has not been adopted owing to the negative votes of permanent members of the Council.
The United Kingdom is appalled by the decision of Russia and China to veto this draft resolution aimed at bringing an end to the bloodshed in Syria and to create the conditions for a meaningful political progress.
The Russian delegation very clearly and consistently explained that we simply cannot accept a document under Chapter 7, one that would open the path for pressure of sanctions and external military involvement in Syrian domestic affairs.
One can only hope that one day, before too many thousands more die, that Russia and China will stop protecting Assad and allow this council to play its proper role at the center of the international response to the crisis in Syria.
It is a sad day on the Security Council when members start making excuses for other member states killing their own people. The world is definitely a more dangerous place.
By vetoing this resolution today, they have undermined the credibility of this Council and of the international rules preventing the use of these barbaric weapons. This is Russia's 7th veto on Syria in 5 years. What further evidence do we need that Russia will always prioritize the Assad regime over the protection of the Syrian people? Well, today we have learnt that they will plunge to new depths, that they would rather cover up for Assad than prevent the further use and proliferation of chemical weapons.
The fact that the resolution wasn't supported by 6 from 15 Security Council members should make the co-sponsors seriously think.
Moscow argued passing an anti-Damascus resolution would undermine international efforts to bring peace in the war-torn nation. Other than the 2 permanent members of the Security Council, Bolivia voted against the resolution. 9 countries voted for the resolution, while 3 others abstained. The United States, Britain, and France that had drafted the resolution argued that there is enough evidence that the Syrian government had used chemical weapons. After the vote was defeated, the U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley said that it was a sad day that made the world a more dangerous place. The resolution would have put 11 Syrians and 10 entities under sanctions. James Atras, former U.S. Senate foreign policy analyst, joins us from Washington. You know, I'm guessing that before this resolution was actually put on the table, that obviously the different ambassadors speak amongst themselves, that it was going to get the veto from Russia at a minimum, and so it would not get adopted. Why would the U.S., Britain, and France opt at this time, given that there are talks going on in Geneva, want this to go forward?
That's really the key question. We can talk about the situation on the ground in Syria, whether the evidence was sufficient for this resolution. We remember the incident in Ghouta in 2013 when there is very good evidence. It was actually the anti-government forces that were using the chemical weapons as a provocation against the government. I would not rule that out in the cases that were cited for this resolution. But it gets down to the question you asked is, politically, what did they expect? They knew very well that it would be vetoed. It seems to be the kind of stunt that we associate with the previous administration, and it really does make you wonder who is making the decisions now under the new Trump administration, which, let's be fair, is not very well staffed yet and is still relying on holdovers from the previous administration. I have to assume that Ambassador Haley is still relying on a lot of personnel who staffed Samantha Power when she had that job, and nothing really has changed in New York.
And one other question regarding what Haley said, which is, well, it was surprising, at least from the details behind it. She said that it's interesting how Assad and his forces have used chemical weapons on 3 occasions, and nothing is done, but yet when the, well, she refers to them as ISIS, using it on 1 occasion, that they are condemned. And she said that most likely Assad has used chemical weapons on more than these 3 occasions. That just goes against the reality, as the Russian ambassador to the UN stated.
It does, and frankly, I think it's sad. I think that this is bad staff work that she's relying on, and I really hope at some point there are enough people with a new approach that come into this administration that can review all of the mistakes that were made by the previous administration and take a different tack. We'll hear what the president has to say tonight when he lays out a broader blueprint for dealing with Daesh. I have to admit, though, I'm very concerned that there are enough people that are in the apparatus that are simply establishment people that could as easily have been in a Hillary Clinton administration or a Barack Obama or a George W. Bush or Jeb Bush administration, who will simply want to go down the same road that's brought us to this mess in Syria, not to mention Iraq in the first place.